Good morning, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels. It's Thursday. It's day 3 of the NFL Combine. We've got offensive linemen speaking to the media. We've got wide receivers, quarterbacks, and I think tight ends going to be hitting up the bench press here in a little bit. But in the meantime, it's, of course, time to talk to you fine folks, Packers fans worldwide. This is what we do here. We're devoted to you folks across the globe, loving the green and gold. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Good morning to everybody in the comments section. And of course, shout out to Big B. What's up, Big B? Hope you're doing well. Speaking of shout outs, big, humongous shout out to Rick and Ann here in Indianapolis. Had a lovely time last night meeting a bunch of fine folks from the area. A couple of media members stopped by. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody who showed up. We had a ball talking all things Packers and other stuff too. But and just so great to hear people how they come not only to the Packers but Cheesehead TV and how they discovered the site and discovered the channel, whatever. Really means a lot. So thank you, and especially to Rick and Ann for putting it together. Um, like I said, it was a ton of fun last night. Um, Ed, we're going to start us off with a super chat. What's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Shout out to everyone in the Lake Tomahawk area. Family vacations there in the 60s saved me from a lifetime of bear fandom. Seriously, so very grateful for whatever they put in the water. I love that. See, this is what I'm talking about. How we arrive at fandom. That's phenomenal. Shout out Lake Tomahawk. Well done. Mark, thank you for the super chat. Guys, do not fall into this wide receiver trap. Look, man, people can be excited about the possibility of the Packers drafting a wide receiver. I think they will at some point, but I don't think it's going to be at 28. I don't think it's going to be enough on the first day. Now, could they? Sure, absolutely. No doubt about it. But just because they don't eventually doesn't mean that they aren't going to add a guy. And it doesn't mean that whoever they add won't be valuable and be able to contribute, especially long term. I, I think the Packers' track record at this point, at this position, should give them the benefit of the doubt. They've done a pretty good job of finding them in the draft, wherever they find them in the draft. So, yeah, I'm with you, Mark. Jeff, thanks for the super chat. I keep reading comments that Rodgers is taking too long. To be fair, none of us knows what is going on behind closed doors. Yeah, 100%. I'm with you, man. I get the frustration in the sense of we live in a day-to-day world, hell, an hour-to-hour world with social media. So it does lend itself to people, come on, give us a resolution here. You're taking too long. Like, I understand that kind of feeling from fans, but you're absolutely right. We, have no idea what the process he's going through is or what decisions he's weighing, what have you. But also, it's not that long for the idea of deciding to come back and put yourself through what he's got to go through. And that's what Brian was alluding to the other day. Just getting ready for the season is a long, arduous process, let alone the actual season itself. And then committing to maybe 2 or 3 more of those, possibly. Yeah, I don't think it's taking long at all. I do think he's got to, not got to, but he should honor what he talked about in regards to timelines for the Packers and how they really can't start their plan or building their roster and how they want to go about it until they get a decision from him. And obviously that deadline is March 16th. So I still think he gets something done by the 8th, but we will see. We will see. Dawson, thanks for the super chat. Over under on how many adult beverages Nags took down last night. I'm going 5.5. Nags. Also, I got ticks to see Blondie and the Damned in Chicago. Oh my God, that's a bill right there. Dude, now I'm jealous. That's awesome. I would definitely take the over. That's all I'm going to say about that. Krista, I've been here since the Crooked Lamp days. Wow. That's a callback right there. For those of you who don't know, when I was first on the beat doing like Facebook chats, I did them from my bedroom in Astoria. And in the corner, there was this lamp that was always just a little bit off. Just a little, the shade was always a little crooked. Krista, that's a serious callback. Pack Dat, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. With potential DA deal and Jefferson Lamb Chase probably getting bigger deals in the future, could wide receiver become a premium position in the draft? Depends on the team, And look, there's no doubt that some teams value that position a little bit more than the Packers do, as far as you know, it's worth to the football team and comparative to other positions. Like the Packers clearly it's pass rushers, corners, offensive linemen are the real big three for the pack. Um, the other teams approach it differently, but I don't think the way Devontae's deal ends up getting done, or the big deals that are probably coming down the pike, I don't think that matters much in the sense of valuing the position itself. Like the players are worth what they're worth, but your philosophy of how you play football and how you construct a roster most likely isn't going to be affected by that. I mean, maybe there's an outlier there, but I doubt it. Ron, thanks for the super chat. Hit the like button. Dogs are expensive. Thanks, Ron. Thanks a lot. Um, Nags, is harder for beat reporters to ask hard pointed questions because it might ruin a relationship? Is it easier to ask hard questions when interviewing opposing teams? That's a good question, Dell. I guess it all depends on the reporter, right? And what you're trying to accomplish. There's no question you have to like tread a line there. And I have circled back with Matt. I did it this past year after the Bears game, the first Bears game. Yeah, if you find it, there's I asked him about the use of so much spread, and you can tell in the questioning that I'm upset about it. Like, and there's no place for that. I reached out later and apologized because I was like, look, I occupy a very unique position in the kind of landscape of the media, and I let my fan side come out there, and that's your availability, Matt's availability is not the place for that. So yeah, you're always kind of balancing, what you want to ask or what you want to get to. I think most guys, not all of them, but most guys, whether it's a coach or a player, are really fine as long as you're rooted in some kind of truth that the tape you can put on the tape and see it, you know? They're totally fine answering if it's a hard question. I mean, even if it's like decision making, like a quarterback like Aaron, I think is really good at immediately coming up. Like he did it after the playoff game. He said, "Yeah, that shot to Devontae, I definitely should have hit Lazard, and that's going to weigh on." So I think most guys are fine as long as you're rooted in some kind of, you know, truth that can be seen on the tape and blah, blah, blah. It's when people try to play gotcha and things like that. That's where guys, I think, get pissed. Or when I know for a fact that there are guys in the locker room that have gotten upset with reporters because they have like reached out to family members or things like that, especially without asking first. And I think, when you start to go down that road, then guys get closed off and they don't want to talk to you. But yeah, I think it's hard. It can be difficult if you're gonna ask a quote hard question, but as long as that's again rooted in some kind of truth, I think most 99% of the dudes are fine. Kevin, thanks for the super chat. Will we have Sunday ticket or pay per view in 2022? Also, might relocate from Chicago to Arizona like the Cardinals because the Bears still suck. I don't know what's going on with Sunday ticket. I haven't needed it for so long. I've kind of lost track, but I think the last I saw, I think what is it? Apple was getting in on possibly buying the rights for Sunday Ticket. So I don't know if that's been resolved or not, but yeah, I haven't needed it for a while, so I'm not quite sure, Kevin. I'm sorry. A couple years ago, I would have known everything about it because I was totally beholden to it, but I don't utilize it much anymore. Marcus, thanks to the super chat. Good morning, Nags. In your opinion, do you think with the new special teams hire, it will change how they look for traits in players in later rounds? Brian touched on that a little bit. I think it possibly could. I think I'm interested to see if they, you know, how much input Basaccia is allowed to have in that regard. I think more than traits, I think it's types of players that you want to utilize on teams. I mean, McDuffie last year is a perfect example, and that's a guy who needs to be playing on teams. You know, they need more of those types. And I'm not so sure it's traits. I just think it's like you need more linebacker bodies. You know, or at least ends that can move. I just think they've got to kind of look at everything. And any traits is part of it, no doubt about it. But also, like, how are you making roster decisions? Who are you letting go? Like, I just saw Joe Thomas was signed by the Bears, Packers legend Joe Thomas. Um, I understood he wasn't the greatest backer. He was a backup for a reason, but he was a good special teams player. You know, the idea of moving on from him because you were trying to get some young guy, probably with traits, on your roster, maybe those are decisions you need to rethink. Maybe place a little bit more value on those bottom of the roster special teams standouts. I think it all comes into play. I think no stone should be unturned in that regard. Carl, thanks for the super chat. Good morning, Nags. You need a portable throwback Packers team poster for travel purposes. I missed those mugs. Nice. That'd be fun, right? Give myself a little Cheesehead TV step and repeat. That'd be a good time. Accidental Hero, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Cheesehead TV throwback day, crooked lamp and mustache, puppy chow fun. I mean, it's a long off season. Anything is possible. Marshall, thank you for the super chat. If Green Bay gets the draft in 2024, will you be in attendance? Oh, hell yes. Are you kidding? You couldn't keep me away. Yes, I will definitely be there. John, thank you for the super chat. Great meeting you last night. Had a blast the short time I was there, being able to meet other fans of the green and gold in Indy. Go Pack Go. John, thank you so much for showing up. It was so cool to meet so many people who, like I said, come at the team in a different way, but all kind of are connected through Cheesehead TV. So cool. And John, thank you so much. Thanks for stopping by. Having said that about special teams, Burke stay around. Steve, that's always been kind of my contention, but I think he really kind of took a bit of a step back last year on special teams. I would not be surprised if they moved on and tried to improve there. But if he has value, that is it. There's no question about it. Why can't the offensive line stay in for where is it? For a field goal or extra point, especially for special teams needed in this case, except the center. Um, Coaches will give you a long litany of reasons, but it is a bit more specialized and what they're being asked to do. But yeah, it's a mystery. I think it's one of those things where coaches have disappeared into the ether and convinced themselves that they have to get these guys off for that play. It's a fun question for Bisaccia this summer. David asks, will Devontae get a long-term deal? Yes. Chris, thanks for the super chat. Cough, like Jeff Janis, cough, special teams is 1/3 of the game. Janis is a perfect example. I mean, say what you want about his ability as a receiver, but he was a fucking star as a gunner. I mean, that alone made him valuable. And I get, again, moving on, trying to improve at your wide receiver spot, your depth chart there, but you lost something when you lost Janis as a gunner. And if you do this, and like you can look at the Joe Thomas, the Jeff Janis, etc. These are all isolated things, but you keep operating that way, you're never going to build anything on teams. So yeah, I think Janis is another great example there. Walter, thanks for the super chat. Why do people say cornerback is still a position of need? Oh, because it is. Always is. Especially in this day and age where things are spread out and you never know when you're going to have to suddenly find yourself against a team running 3-4 wideouts and then a tight end goes split out and then all of a sudden you're in 5 wide and your dime package has to be able to hold up. I think safety and corner are both needs. Look, I understand everyone's like, just sign Razul and you're back. Well, that's going to cost money, right? Probably a good chunk of change. The key to this team right now is finding talented, cheap labor for their depth. And where do you do that? You do that in the draft. You're going to re-sign Jair, no doubt about it. You found a stud in Stokes. He's had a really good rookie year. Hopefully, continues, only gets better, right? Past that, Rasul, hopefully, but that's no given. And even if he does return, what kind of deal is he going to get, etc.? Like you never want to stop replenishing that position ever. And that's why the Packers continually take so many of them. You have in this day and age, especially one injury, and all of a sudden you're running out there with Chandon Sullivan as your, or go back in the day, you're running out there with Za'Darius Gunter at number 1. Never, ever, ever stop taking corners. Ever. It's a perennial, always a need. Always. 100%. What else we got? Callum, good morning. Can the Packers find a number 1 draft pick? You better believe they can. They will. They'll find somebody. They'll take him, and we're all going to have a ball. Actually, the Twitter will probably melt down and hate the pick, whoever it is. So be ready for that. Sean, if the Packers are in salary cap trouble, say beer twice. I don't think they are. Are they kicking the can? Yeah. Will they get there eventually? Probably. But right now, they've got a plan. I'm pretty confident they're going to execute it and be okay. So, beer. Only once. If Crosby is not with the team next year, how much does that rock the boat? I don't think it rocks it much, actually. Obviously, he's very good friends with Aaron. As we all know, Aaron is the straw that stirs the drink. But it is a business, and people know at some point they're going to have to move on. And he is making a decent amount of coin for a kicker, and they've clearly brought in competition. Maybe he gets a chance to compete for the job in camp, and they actually hold 3 kickers through the offseason. I'd be very surprised if that were the case, but at some point, it ain't show friends, it's show business, and everybody inside that locker room knows it. So would it rock the boat a little bit? Probably. It'd be a moment. I'll definitely give it that, but I think most of these guys are grown-ups and understand, uh, you know, time waits for no one. Can't wait to drink the entire draft for them to trade the pick. Hope not. John, we joke about that every year, and then thankfully it hasn't happened a whole lot, but yeah, that is always the fear, especially like when we're doing our live show, like we're there for 3 hours and then the Packers don't pick. Awesome. Would I trust Love as QB1? Absolutely. 1000%. Here's what people don't get. All right. People think that I'm like, they got to get Love on the field. And that is not it at all. I mean, I think he has to play to improve and become a better quarterback and continue to develop. There comes a time as a quarterback, you just need to play. Um, but if Jordan Love is the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, you have turned a page and become a very different football team, and your expectations are very different. Obviously, you go from Super Bowl contender to, they don't want to call it a rebuild or whatever, but you have started developing a young quarterback. People forget the Packers won 6 games Rodgers' first year as a starter, and that was his 4th year in the league. How he played, whatever, those are facts. That was a new era. You turn to Jordan, it's a new era. Yes, correct. You're going to be fighting to try and make the playoffs as you build your young quarterback. Look, and I understand it's a win now world, and the Rams just did it, and they traded everything away and won a Super Bowl, and Packers fans have been desperate to get back there, and they feel like they're so close, and clearly the team feels like they're so close, so they're just going to keep kicking that can, keep this band together, try and get to that Super Bowl, and I understand that. But my point as a fan is like, if they turn to Jordan Love, I get what's going on. All right, now it's time for the next chapter. This team is 100 years old, over 100 years old. And they've done a pretty remarkable job since the early 90s of making sure that these windows are healthy and that they move on when it's time. I feel like it's time. Clearly they don't. So, but yeah, that's a long way of saying, yeah, absolutely. Jordan comes in there, you adjust the expectations, and away you go. I got a couple more super chats here. I don't want to miss any. People get so upset. Dave, thanks for the super chat. Did Myers show enough that you are confident he is the center for the foreseeable future, or is center depth a sneaky need? Well, it's interesting because I think the depth part of it is Lucas Patrick still around? He obviously filled in admirably, but I would be very, very surprised if they looked to center in the draft. Yeah, I think Myers had a lot of promise. Do I think he's arrived? No, still got a lot to work on, but yeah, I think he's very clearly their long-term starter. As long as he's healthy, and he seems to be. I think, yeah, he showed them what they were expecting, and I think he's going to improve. And got to think that first year was tough, having to sit on the sideline for so long. But man, they say about the second-year players taking that big jump. I think we're going to see that from Myers, no doubt about it. Big Cheese, thanks for the super chat. Hey, I forgot. Do drills start today? Tonight, yes. The bench press is actually starting. I think the bench press just started right now as we're talking. But yeah, the running and stuff starts tonight. When am I doing a mock draft? Ben, never doing a mock draft. I did my mock drafts, but funnily enough, I remember doing a mock draft when I was on the beat at Green Bay Press Gazette, and I didn't have Josh Jackson in the first round, and I got hate. I'm talking hate mail because of it. Oh, and look, Josh Jackson didn't go in the first round. Samuel, thanks for the super chat. How to get Love on the field next season? Blow a bunch of teams out of the water. There you go. Yeah, definitely not like, Don't want it like New Orleans in week 1. No, no, no. We want him, end of the game where the Packers have blown them out. I feel you. All right, buddy. I'm gonna have to get going. I can't thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Thank you so much. Please do me a monster favor and hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide.